just photographs. Well, I just think, I really, really just think these are so beautiful. Even ugly people like Brian Hackett look well. It's amazing.
You've got to deal with that.
Yeah.
When you're in the wedding photographic game, you become sort of...
Oh, so that was your kind of bread and butter, and this was...
Well, I was a teacher, I was a photography teacher, but
right.
I also did a lot of wedding photography on
These
the weekends,
are,
you know.
These are so beautiful. So when it came to... Now, you had an exhibition, we saw the poster there, 2006, you had an exhibition in the Burnaby, which I actually remembered. I remember just thinking, holy moly, it made me feel different about the people up in the images, because they seemed iconic. You had, you know, the Hurley brothers and all that. It's suddenly you realised, wow, they're pretty cool looking guys.
You can take people for granted when you're born and reared with them, you know.
Yes, yes.
But when you actually see them isolating the photograph, suddenly you can see, Jesus, you know, their people are quite distinctive.
Yeah,
and
it's
unique,
it's like a crystallization. It's like it goes.
You grew up amongst, but you only realise sometimes it takes a photograph to isolate them, and you look at it and all that, and you think, yeah, well, they got a lot of character, those guys, you know.
Well,
there's a famous German photographer, August Sonder.
Okay.
And he was around before the First World War. I think he was involved in the First World War. He was between the wars and through the Nazi era, and he photographed. He just went out into a place called Westerwald, outside Cologne, and he photographed just ordinary German people. And he photographed a lot of Jewish people as well, Jewish academics and business people and all. And the Nazis didn't really like him, you know what I mean, because of that. But he's just a fantastic. You want to see? I have a book of his photographs there.
Right, I'll link to him.
Just standing there, country people.
Yeah. Well,
chimney sweeps. I like that sort of photography.
And as you were saying too, like as we looked through them and as I was photographing it, just how much is revealed in somebody's, you know, sitting room or in their just the way they live. And if you've got, you know, posters on the wall and pictures framed, whether you're religious or whether you've got, you know, it just tells you so much. Here's the two lads over in outside Newcastle, but it just tells you not so much. You know, kind of about that's their taste. It's actually their life. It's what it's how they live and. Yeah, it's an amazing thing. When
I went off, when I was a young fella, I served my apprenticeship, and I put a pack on my back and went off to hitchhike around Europe. And I fell in with this English guy, Brian Neyman, and we just in Athens, and we decided we'd go overland to Australia. So we headed off, and Brian got sick in India and had to fly back, and the war broke out over Bangladesh. I was stuck in India. I couldn't get back. You couldn't get out of it.
Right.
So I was there for 6 months, and then eventually I managed to fly back from New Delhi to Lahore and make me way back, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'd seen all these amazing people in India and coming back through the Middle East, Afghanistan and all. And I got back to London and I got lended a bit of money off a guy, and I got back to Wexford, and I'm hitchhiking down to my aunt's place, and I'm walking down the road, and it was an wet day, and I can hear this thud of a ball. And I'm going by this farmhouse, and I look in, and there's this young farmer's son. He's a pair of Wellingtons turned down at the top, corduroy trousers, he's stripped to the waist, and he has a hurl and a slitter, and he's banging it off this farm wall, you know? And I thought to myself, Jesus, you wouldn't see the likes of that. So sometimes you have to go away from your own place to
it's like
appreciate it, you know? Yeah.
But I do think, you know, the crystallization that happens with a photograph too, because it's that moment in time, it's that person's life in that moment, and their history, and even if we know them, we can kind of sort of feel even more kind of layers to the photograph. But bottom line, when you just look at it, you can almost, you know, it's like getting to know the person in a second. Yeah, I find that amazing, and obviously
that's all old traditional black and white photography. I mean, I had a dark room up here in the box room and all. I had to get rid of it when I rented out the house and went back to Australia. But I printed all those up myself and everything. So that's a very tactile thing as well, you know.
Yeah.
You're using the negative, like you've opened up the lens, the light from that person has hit the film. You develop the film, you shine a light through it in the enlarger, and you print it up on light-sensitive photographic paper. Right. And I always feel there's a bit of a link there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I know digital photography is a huge leap forward.
Sure.
But I think it's lost a little bit too.
Well, there's a step back too, because the personal touch is naturally.
There's a lot of people now going back into traditional photography.
Yeah, well, it's like the sound of vinyl records is different to the sound of the CD, and people are feeling that because it does emotionally affect you know, how you relate to the work itself, and I think it actually does come across when it's it's a funny thing, because I use images a lot on the guide, and I get a very different kind of feel from a photograph from the 50s or 60s than somebody's, and because people have gotten, I won't say lazy, but they just assume, well, it's so easy to take a picture now, they just sort of half-heartedly take them, whereas in those days it was a week's wages to use up a 36 film, and to think you had really thought about how you structured this, and therefore the attention was in the shot. You really wanted this to be a...
Well, I've got a couple of books there, like one by Evelyn Hoffer, who was a German photographer who came here in the early 60s.
All right.
And she did a whole series of photographs in Ireland, black and white photographs, but they're just fantastic, iconic photographs of the country. And when you look at them now, they're more than just ordinary photographs. You know, there's something else in them there.
Well, and I do love the I would say, even though there is a great skill involved, there's also the great random nature of it, that you just don't know until you get home that you caught something. Right. And it's like lightning happens, and it can be like there's a great shot of Mrs. Mooney sitting in her doorway when the shop was open, eating off a plate, and just a guy, Mr. Wilson, on holidays, just took a picture of her having her dinner in the sunlight. And again, that's not something you could say, let's make dinner and go out and sit for a photograph. That's just a moment, and that can be a beautiful thing. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a petition. You'll have to exhibit again. I know it's not always easy to, maybe the framing is a pain in the neck, who knows, but I would think these images are so beautiful.
I was mixed up in the school, working at the school, and you had all sorts of facilities. I was involved with the Signal Arts Centre in Bray.
Right.
Go in there and put
a lot easier to frame something.
Dark room here, so it'll be a huge thing really now.
Right.
To go. But
well,
I have that exhibition actually up in the loft. It's framed and everything. Exactly like that.
Well, then we're rocking.
3 images from an old mate of mine in Denmark I took.
All right.
And I went to visit him, and I was staying with him down in southern Denmark, a little town called Adislav. Right. And I shot off a couple of rolls of film in the house. So, yeah, but the exhibition I had was framed exactly like that.
Well, then we're rocking, because I just thought, well, if we had to frame them all, it's going to be very expensive. But, from the Whale to the Flintstones, so there's so many people in the town would be very, 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 very proud to have especially given that it's... mixed in with any of the images that you've taken are beautiful, but obviously when you see people from the town as well, it just sort of evoke a huge amount of emotion in a lot of people.
Well, people sort of gone, and the Greystonians has changed so much, and there's so many people now. Well, like I've gone for 9 years this time. Now I've gone several times before, but this is the first time when I've come back that I felt God, the place has changed.
You felt like a visitor in your own hometown.
You're almost a stranger in your own hometown.
Right.
I'm sure lots of people have that.
I think
probably an emotional attachment when they see an exhibition like this.
Oh, big time.
And then the fact that the harbour's changed so much and everything like that. That was sort of a focal point, a nucleus for a lot of older Greystones people. They always congregated around the harbour.
Well, it's the most iconic, part of the town, really, when you think about identity.
Of the town, but that's gone now as well.
Well, I've had this conversation with a lot of different people, and I just think it's it's kind of, to me now, Dylan has gone electric, and it's a different kind of Dylan, and but it is a bunch of kids are treating it like their memories, and they're going to have. They're down there. There's such activity, and I think time will mellow the. Hopefully that the concrete look will be mellowed out. I know there's plans to resurface some of it, but I know in the park there's a 16-acre park going to be built down there just between the marina and the cliff walk. That's all going to be a big park.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it's going to be a lot of beauty.
Build more houses.
No, I think that was always part of the plan. It went from.
I hope to go through with it.
Oh, they have to. Well, it's part of the agreement that there were actually it was going to be 19 acres, and then trying to get the whole project restarted, they were given 3 acres of that for houses, but 16-acre park, including a dog park, and it's just going to make you're talking about it'll be another 3 to 4 years that it'll all be settled, but I think time will do its thing, and it'll mellow out. The boardwalk and all that will just become part of our...
It's just such a radical change for the older people. As you say, for the younger people, it'll be the Greystones that grew up in.
Well, and they'll have their own sort of memories of it, and absolutely, I think the harbour as a I grew up there myself, like in the bus shelter, going to Killian's discos and all that kind of stuff. It's a huge part of my kind of feeling about what it represents. Is just
there's a feeling that you don't have the access to the harbour that you used to have.
Maybe, yes.
And fish off the pier, and now the pier is full of...
Well, people do fish off it still, which is good, but I think that I do want to get a feature up about the actual fishing. The local fishermen haven't got a great... They haven't got a great deal out of it. They
did pay them off, but still...
I think there's definitely issues there that need to be...
It's okay if you've can afford to have a fancy yacht there, but if you're just an ordinary guy with a little punt, I think you'll be battling, you know. It's always going to be, you know, that sort of how much does Peter get, how much does Paul get, all this measuring exactly how it all fits back together as a jigsaw. And there are many people who do have their little tiny boats and go out there and every day and just have a great life. And, you know, I'm not one of them, but I'd like to be. There's the have yachts and the have nots. Well, that's one way of looking at it.
Beautiful work, man, and we'll follow this up, and I think we'll definitely get these out somewhere.